if we can't afford to go to work, what do we do?
You look at the price at the gas pump and you're like, wow, is that real? I guess it is. So you try to avoid it a little bit. You don't fill it up all the way.
I'm walking a lot more. That's what I'm doing.
I go and get gas every day because I'm scared it's going to go up more the next day.
As far as I'm concerned, the whole economy is not working for the middle class person like I am.
I'm on a fixed income and it just doesn't stretch anymore.
This big, beautiful bill didn't help me. It didn't help me in the least. If anything, it's one of the reasons I'm having to go back to work. I'm on disability and they yell at me for going to work, but I don't have a choice. It's either I go to work or we don't eat.
I believe the war is causing what we're going through right now with gas prices, also food prices.
He's more concerned about the war over there and killing everybody over here with increased prices, and he just doesn't seem to care.
Now, America is considered a car-dependent country, with about 90% of households owning at least one vehicle. There's over 4 million roads across America. 90% of, not 90%, but a lot of people choose to drive rather than fly when they travel, which myself included. I'm not a big fan of flying. It's just something of my anxiety, doesn't really like it. But it's actually has gotten to a point where it's about 5% of the GDP of the overall U.S. And so it's actually creates over 10 million jobs every single year. And so the car economy is definitely a real thing in the States. And it's gotten to a point where there's actually many states where you can't really live without a car. You probably need that to have access to work and back, to go to the grocery store, maybe even to go anywhere, maybe even just be reliable with your family and friends, even for yourself, to get to doctor's appointments and get prescriptions. But in this day and age, with everything being so outpriced for the average individual, are people going to be able to maintain this? Well, it's actually gone the other way, where instead of people being like, well, we just can't afford a car, we're going to work from home and deliver, but we can't afford that, we're going to turn our car into our homes. So in this video, we're going to discuss the car economy and how it's lackluster at best, but definitely is relatable at most. So let's continue.
Weekly newsletter every Friday on Patreon. Link below alongside other various links to support the channel. Thank you for watching this broadcast. Now let's begin.
This is a sign that the West is quietly collapsing. More and more people are sleeping in cars, vans, and tents across wealthy nations, once seen as untouchable. Not because they're unemployed, not because they're reckless, but because the price of simply existing has exploded. Single minimum wage workers are no longer renting apartments. They're parking behind supermarkets, hiding in industrial zones, and turning back seats into bedrooms. Buying a home has vanished for many. Renting is barely possible. Shelter is becoming optional instead of guaranteed. Full-time workers are being priced out of roofs. Rent now consumes 60 to 70% of paychecks. Food climbs, fuel climbs, utilities climb, but wages barely move. So people adapt the only way they can. In Los Angeles, entire streets glow with van windows at night. In Australia, families sleep near beaches because leases are unreachable. In the UK, van dwellers hide from council fines just to rest without being moved along. The promise used to be simple. Work hard and you'll own a home. But housing stopped being shelter and became an asset. Investors outbid residents, and ownership shifted from a life goal to a financial privilege. When people with jobs can't afford a place to sleep in the richest nations on earth, the problem isn't effort or discipline. It's this. What future does the West have when working no longer guarantees a home?
Now, I've spent countless different videos discussing the car economy, mostly discussing how people are moving into their cars. It's mostly a home epidemic where everybody's actually trying to find a place to live, trying to find a place to stay. If you can't check up with folks, if you can't afford it on your own, you're going to find yourself either on the streets or in anywhere you can find yourself, which a lot of times ends up being in your vehicle. And if you have a reliable enough vehicle, maybe if you have one of those vans, you can maybe set up the back, or a big enough car, you can actually put down one of the seats and make it into a bed. I've seen many different types of situations where people have done that in the past, as I've reviewed in different videos you can find here on the channel. But is this actually a reliable thing? Are we going to have the average person spending their 20s living in the Walmart parking lot? Is that just going to be a stage in our life now? It's considered normal and average. I feel like back in the day, that was kind of like the last option, is living in your car. Basically considered being homeless. Now these days, it's actually an option that many people choose, rather than pay rent month to month and potentially have that increase over the cost of living, which is getting borderline stagnant. But let's discuss this.
I don't know what they expect people to do. My credit score's 8.
As of about the beginning of this year, 2026, now do you personally own a vehicle? Have you seen rates skyrocket? Is gas something that you can't even handle anymore? Man, we didn't even discuss gas much throughout this video, but that's a whole video on its own. Now, feel free to leave your personal opinions down below discussing the car economy, other different topics involving this subject you'd like to hear me discuss in the near future, as well as want to give a huge shout out to thank you guys who check out those links down below in the description and just support the channel daily by checking out these commentary videos. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next one. See ya.